Okay, here we go. Misha sholes chavero ben hashmoshes kama yemei svira halacha daled. Someone asks, "What's today's svira?" B'zeh halayla, tonight. Yomer loy, you should answer like a Jew. You never answer the question that you're asked. You want to know what today's svira was? You tell them yesterday was such and such. Okay, that's like a very Jewish answer. Okay, why is that? Shem yomer lo hayom kach v'kach. If you tell them today is this day. You're not going to be able to count with a brachot because when you told them what today is, you counted. But before Ben Hashmoshes, kivan she'ein zman sfira, since it's not the time to count, ein bekach klum. It doesn't mean anything, and you can count again later on without worrying that you counted already. Okay, now this halacha comes in many different shilas about this halacha. My most favorite shilah is the guy says, today's Lag BaOmer. Did you count?
No.
What did he do?
He said he wasn't counting. He was telling you the special day that it is. It's called Lag BaOmer.
Okay, so that's right. That's the place who say that's not called counting. And what about if I say, is today the 10th day of the OMER? I say, is today the 10th day of the OMER?
And he says yes.
And the other person says yes. Did you count?
No, not really.
I don't know. I see. You have to translate that into English. Did you fakely count?
Yes.
Okay. What?
He didn't count. He didn't say today is the 10th day of the OMER.
I say, is today the 10th day of the OMER?
What you say?
If I said, is today the 10th day of the OMER, did I count?
Yes. No. You're asking as a question.
If the Rav said, today is the 10th day of the OMER, and the other guy said, Amen.
Okay.
That doesn't...
I'm just going to try to explain this. The Achronim, the Dvar Avrohom, asks a question that many Achronim ask, and this is a question that there are many different answers to. Why don't you count every day of Sefira twice? Because of Sveikat Yomer, right? The first day, the second day of the Omer, the second day of Pesach is day number 1. And the third day of Pesach should be day number 1 or day number 2, right?
No, I don't know what's suffix. Where's the suffix coming from?
I live in Muncie.
Yeah.
Okay, and I know the second day of Pesach is the first day of Sefira. I don't know when the first day of Pesach is.
Okay. You do know. You have a calendar now. You do know.
So how many days Yantif do you have to keep in Muncie?
2 days.
Why?
Because that has nothing to do with the fact that 2 days or 1 day. It makes absolutely no difference.
Do you know what day is the 16th day of Nisan?
Yes.
So why do you hold 2 days Yantif?
I don't. I live here.
That's one answer. Okay.
We get it.
Okay, you understand the question?
I understand the question.
This is a question that there are many answers given to, and the Dvar Avrohom's answer is what I call probably the most simple Lamdasha answer. He says, if you say today is the first day, or maybe today is the second day, you didn't count anything. Because to count, it has to be a definitive thing. You understand what I just said? That's a stira to counting to say either today is the first day or today is the second day. I can't say that.
Second day one is a real.
So one second. So there are those that ask on the Dvar Avrohom his question. What did they do in the Zman of Beis Hamikdash if they lived in Chutz La'aretz? What did they do in Muncie in the Zman of Beis Hamikdash?
I wasn't there then. I don't know.
Yeah, okay.
Even more than that.
Okay, so this is a question, and that's one of the answers that's given. But this is a subject which is discussed. What? It seems that those who attack the Dvar Avrohom with this taina, they say it's clear that they counted 2 days.
Really?
Yeah.
They counted it till they heard from the shliach, or what?
That's right, until they had no more suffix. Now, how long does it take really it shouldn't be that much more than 15 days. Okay, but I'm just telling this is from the questions that's asked, and this is like from the rayas that when you count with a question, that's not called counting. That's a stira to counting.
That means answering yes.
Answering yes is not counting. That's giving it a piece of information. All right, and
the thing that bothers me is the fact that when somebody says, "Okay, today's the 23rd day,"
One moment.
Yeah, but the mitzvah is to count days and weeks. So he didn't fulfill the mitzvah by doing that.
well, it depends what you have to do minimally. We're going to see that Mishnah Berurah is going to discuss that issue. Yes.
Go ahead. Yechiel, go ahead.
I'm not sure what it's 23 means exactly. If it's 23 means that you said Hayom Esrim V'Shalosh, then that's called counting. If it's 23, it just means if you said 23 without saying Hayom, then you didn't count. You have to apply the number to the day. So I don't know if the word it's 23 is called that you apply the number to the day. That's a grammatical question that I'm not capable of answering.
That's okay if the chazan's there and he doesn't know he's in there, he doesn't show to go, you can yell at 23.
It seems to me that's yes, that you could do that. Okay. Let's see the Mishnah Berurah over here. Ben Hashmoshes. Noka Ben Hashmoshes. Mishun de B'di'evet and Birch Ben Hashmoshes. Yotza Kenal. Now this is an infuriating Mishnah Berurah. Why is it infuriating to me? Because it goes against don't look at me like that. I'm going to read a halacha, and here. Okay. Where does it say it? Okay. Im Tobiyam und Birchas Yesaizer Chayzum Lisbor Kishetachshach. V'amadaktikin Einon Soifrim Atzesa Kichovim. And if you're not a medaktik, when do you count? Ben Hashmoshes. And that's the Mishnah Berurah says. You're yaitz if you count Ben Hashmoshes. And here he says that if you count Ben Hashmoshes, you're only yaitz b'di'evet. That's called infuriating. Okay? Now, I'll just tell you, there are some places who say B'dafki you're supposed to count Ben Hashmoshes. We didn't discuss that because they want you to have Tmimis. What?
Even though you could count Ben Hashmoshes, you're supposed to be Medaktik. And anyone's not a Medaktik, he's a b'di'evet guy.
I can't translate those words into English.
Why?
I know. I want you to say what you said in English.
The Medaktikin wait to say something, and whoever's
No, say this.
Scrupulous individuals.
Yes.
Wait till 3 stars come out.
Yeah.
And whoever is not a scrupulous individual is subpar.
I think that you have a problem with your English too. How, if somebody says, from when can you count? What are you supposed to answer?
I didn't hear the question. What did he ask me?
Nightfall.
1 second. What did he ask me?
From when can you count?
Can you count?
Yes. Okay. And you say that person is not scrupulous.
He could.
But as a not scrupulous person, was he Yotzei L'Chatchila or not? I think he was. Okay, I'm just saying this is the question. How much is it a b'diavad and how much is it not? Now I'll just tell you there are many Rishonim who say b'dafki you should count ben hashmashos because you want to have tmimus, and the idea of tmimus overrides the idea of it being vaday chashecha. This is a question, and the Mishnah Berurah is, in my opinion, a little bit difficult. What his opinion is really. All right.
How does that show to me? That's what I'm saying.
It's kind of playing both
How
sides.
does that show to me? To try to do the mitzvah immediately? Is that
No.
what tmimus is?
No. I'm going to share with you a Igros Moshe. Okay? The Igros Moshe says a lady makes a hefsek taira, lechatchila she should bring it to a rav before shkia. Why? So that the zayin nikiyim should be betwimus. What happens if she didn't bring it to the rav until the 5th day? And the rav says it's okay? No, it's fine. Right? It's fine. But the sefira should be betmimus. If you counted, let's say you could start counting at 7 o'clock, and you counted at 7:01, or you counted at 11 o'clock at night, is there a difference? All the Achronim say that there's a difference. Because it's less tmimus the later you counted. You're yaitza, but, I'll just tell this to you in a way that a good balabas should understand it. When are you called late for davening?
I think he's again the question.
When the chazan starts davening.
So if davening is at 8 o'clock, you come at 8:05, you are late, right?
Unless, of course, the chazan hasn't started yet.
No, then the chazin's late.
Totally on the chazan.
The chazan is late.
But
You're not late.
No.
He said
Okay, but the bottom line is that when, I'll just tell you, when I got engaged, the first time I was at my father-in-law's table, so he asked me more or less this question. The Gemara in brachot says that HaKadosh Baruch Hu comes to the base of Knesset, v'loi matzah sham asaro miyadu koyes. So he said, let's say davening is at 7 o'clock. If he came at 5 to 7, he has no right to be angry. If he came at 5 after 7, it's a double portion he's angry. So what does the Gemara mean?
7.
So I said it must mean he came by Baruch Hu, right? Okay, that was my introduction to my father-in-law, okay?
Can't start with the
I'm just telling you, this was the question.
His introduction to you.
Okay, right. So I don't know who's... Okay. Well, anyways, I'm just pointing out that if you ask different people what's called you came late to davening, you will get many different answers to the question. As a balabas in my shul says, we can all come different times as long as we leave together. That's all. Right.
People, doesn't matter if they come late, they all leave at the same time.
That's right. Okay, I'm getting involved. I'm just saying the question over here is tmimus means that you were there for the whole davening. Some people mean
How would
they
you
came from
translate to this in English?
complete.
Wait, so is this like a seeking for sefira that you do it right before it's Lila? Finish Moshe right before Lila?
Yes, that's what you should be doing it.
So maybe that's the...
No, but if Bein Hashmoshes, maybe you should do it in the beginning of Bein Hashmoshes. It's not so clear when you should be doing it. According to those places, can say that you should do it in Bein Hashmoshes because of Tzimis. Mishnah should do it in the beginning of Bein Hashmoshes.
So you should do Shema at the Mishiakir and then one time for Ezra Yisrael. I don't know what you have to do.
Well, Mishiakir, we're in night now.
I'm saying, but it's corresponding.
You're supposed to be doing it as early as possible. Okay?
Is it possible or...
As early as possible.
Or is it close to the day it's possible? Close to night.
Makdimim means you preempt it.
What's the difference if it's a minute before or a half hour before?
If the time that you can count, the first second that you should count, that's when you should be counting.
When is that first second? Can you do it during the
Okay.
Shmashos?
Answer that question by saying what he said. That's the first thing
Okay.
you count, whoever you are, whatever that is.
So if you're a scrupulous fellow like him,
I didn't say
it's at Tzeisak Chavim. If you're a halachic person, it's Ben Hashmoshes. Okay? I think that's the correct answer to the question.
Beginning of Shmashos, the middle of or the end of Shmashos?
Okay, so according to those who say that you should do it Ben Hashmoshes to Yekayim Tmimus, it's the beginning of Ben Hashmoshes. According to those who say that you should do it closer to, those who say that you should do it closer to Laila, because the Tmimus starts from Laila. Okay, but that's a different kind of a question. But the subject over here is, I think that it's not fair to say that it's b'diavad a person who counts Ben Hashmoshes. And I'll just tell you that the average shul in America counts Ben Hashmoshes. In England, I don't even know if they count Ben Hashmoshes. Do they count Ben Hashmoshes? When do they daven Ma'ariv in England?
Only about 8 o'clock. In the summer it stays at 8 o'clock.
What time is that? When is Shkia?
It's 11:30.
Yeah, but that's not Sefiras. That's what we're talking about when it's Sefiras.
Sphere, it's not that late.
In our show, we're locked that even there's a minion Friday night to wait till 50 minutes.
50 minutes to do. That's when they daven Ma'ariv?
No, that's when they count. So that's relatively longer drasha, so you get 50 minutes to do. He held that it has to be by the Laila.
That's what they do Motzei Shabbos also.
When they daven Motzei Shabbos?
Well, anyway, they have 60. It's always 60 minutes after Shkia, so it's not an issue.
All right. Anyways,
Tamimas, according to many opinions, is like the start of the Shakir, the earliest time you can count the OMER,
right.
So I'm just a little puzzled. I'm thinking, even though there's no counting on the Yom Tov of Shavuos,
Yeah.
according to the Tamimas, then you should also.
Right, you should wait to daven later.
What-
So Price can say because you don't want to take away time from Sfira. If you're going to make the day shorter, I just want to ask you a question. Do you think that it's right for a person to start Sfira in America and end it in Eretz Yisrael?
At the end of?
And end it in Eretz Yisrael?
You're going to lose
because of
You're losing 7 hours, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's the day.
What an interesting question.
This is not my question. This is all discussed. Okay.
Or you do it on Tisha B'Av.
That's what it's
A 15-hour fast, whatever.
But there's no Tamimas on Tisha B'Av.
Okay.
I'm saying, but it's,
There's Tamimas in Shabbos.
Okay, but there are those who answer like he's saying, that if you have the beginning and the end of all the days, then you have all the days. But there are those who would like to say that you should wait longer. I'm not going to get involved in that whole question. No, you have to be mashal in the shows. This question is Nogeya on fast days. This is Nogeya on many things. Rav Osner has a few chuvas about this subject, and I'm not going to get involved. I'm just going to share with you this thought that it bothers me. The Mishnah Berurah says that it's b'diavad. Okay. Why? You have to be careful to say, right, hayom kach v'kach, afilu b'lashon las. It doesn't make a difference what he's counting. V'im lo amar hayom lesnum bo. If you didn't say the word hayom, you just said a number, that's okay. Mishum de'ikar mitzvah sheyomer hayom kach v'kach. You have to count the days. Just saying a number is not enough. V'avagav de'lo amar bo'omer yotz b'diavad. Okay. Yachsav libus brachot shekvar yotza b'zeh yidei sfira leman de'omer mitzvah sein tzrichas kavana v'after lan kaimelon the tzrichas kavana v'zeh halo lo kivin notzes yidei mitzvah le'inyan bracha tzach lahachmer v'lachush l'deya v'lo yivarach al sfira sheyim l'achakach v'yoresh eitza she'echavim v'cheresh halo notzes yidei sfira. You have in mind what's called kavana lahepach. You have in mind not to be yotza. Because according to Ma'aseh Shalosh Karim Sheyagia LeShavuos, This is before he got to the 8th day. De'i shal b'shashigil shvuos afilu amar yom kach v'kach lav klum hu kol shelo hisker shavuos. He didn't mention the weeks. Tzach lachzor lizbor b'bracha. Okay, I'm just going to share with you a fascinating Taz, and this Taz really bothers me. The Taz brings 2 rayas, not like Shulchan Aruch. And I think his rayas are pretty good rayas, even though the Achronim have different kinds of answers to answer his raya. The halacha is a Rebbe in Cheder that benches with the kids. He's not Yetzi, he has to bench again. Right. He has to bench again afterwards. He's not Yetzi. Even though he said every single word together with the kids. Why? Because what was he doing?
Teaching.
He was teaching, right? So even though he said all of the words, we don't say that he benched. So why is that different than when I answer your question what it is? Why isn't that like you weren't saying it to count? This is the Taz's question, and we're
Tell him what day it is. That's what you're supposed to do. It's not like benching that you're just teaching words. It's a different thing. You're doing the action that's the mitzvah.
in both cases.
Saying all the words, either for counting or for benching.
Right.
You're saying that this is the day.
And this you're saying this is the
teacher
benching.
Doing that, I don't know how much he's actually thinking about.
As much as he does when he benches.
Not if he's looking at 25 kids who are jumping out of their seats.
Okay, this is the question that the Taz asked. That's not the answer that the Achronim say against the Taz, but we'll just leave it as. I think the Taz is a very good point. Okay, now we're going to learn the next part of this.
Wait, so back to if someone said today is 23, but you didn't say week, so it's nothing.
Right.
So anyone says it's like the OMER, that's also nothing.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Okay.
I'm relieved.
Okay.
That's how we say that. If you don't say the week.
Mishnah Berurah, right?
But that's
Now, the next part, I'm going to share with you a halachic shaila that I have all the time, and it's a fascinating thing. One of the things that I do in my life is I happen to be a moil. Okay? Someone calls me up and says, Rabbi Zachariash, I had a baby, and I would like you to be the moil. Okay? It comes the day of the bris, and I asked the father, when is the bris going to be? So he says, 10 o'clock in the morning. I usually am finished davening before 7 o'clock in the morning. May I eat breakfast?
Why not?
Okay, let's see the Ramon Shulchan Aruch. Kishegia zman asurim lechol ad sheyispor. If I'm only going to get a lulav and esrog at 11 o'clock, could I eat breakfast before that?
That's different.
It's different class of
There's a
mitzvah.
difference between what happens if you're kavua and doing something. You're davening then. That's time that you're davening. So therefore, then you then eat breakfast and then you go. The same way as davening Myra. You have kavua davening Myra at a certain time, say 9 o'clock, but you eat at 7 o'clock. So why shouldn't you be able to eat?
It's also, if they're not there, they're going to be calling you hysterically, get over here.
Okay. Well, that's also discussed. That's a question if that helps for a shomer. That's all these things are discussed. But this is a question, and this question is discussed. The Chuvas B'Tzela Chochma discusses this question barichos, and he makes a difference between mitzvahs that you're mechuyev to do and mitzvahs that you elect to do. No, I'm not mechuyev. Someone calls me and says, I want you to be the mother of my son. I could say, I'm busy, right? Find yourself a different moil. So it's not incumbent upon me to be the moil on his son. Therefore, according to some, I am allowed to eat breakfast.
Once he said yes, it's incumbent.
So there, the Nachlas Tzvi in Shulchan Aruch will just... I know you people all think that I make up everything that I say, It's probably true, but at least I could fake it to read it.
Also, would it make a difference if he said, "I'm appointing you a shaliach now"?
Yes, according to some. Yes, according it depends exactly the lashon that was used to appoint you to do it. Okay. Nira l'chayre da'av aser lecho lifnei hamila keboy b'netilas lulav ukiyaytza. The father is not allowed to eat beforehand. V'chein la'asos kol molachos hanizkers b'ochaim tzim reish tzadik beis. Va'afilu im hischil. He started to do those things. Mafsik in wasina v'sukkah. The b'mili daraisa paskinan. If you're doing something which is a mitzvah daraisa, you have to stop. U'b'drabanan ein paskinan. V'cheiru b'shabbos. V'le'inyan tima, as far as just tasting something, I'm mogen avom reish lamachei. Okay. V'afilu im yamid acher sheyaskiru loy mahani. Even if you have somebody be your shomer, it doesn't work. Kamash kaso b'simen yirches. Tidavka b'mili the mitzvah bahani miu hapshita the imu shel hayeled muteres lecho. She's allowed to eat. Kiva deino chavas b'milas beno. She's not obligated to do a son. Miu kol zeh kisha'av moel ba'atzmoi. Avul meinu moel ba'atzmoi ukvar kibid lemoyalim v'osam shlucham. He made them to shliach near the muter lecho lasos kol malachas. The efsher dahamoyel aser lecho. But the moyel himself, he is aser to eat. And this, I had this question many times by Mila Shaloi Bizmana. The question of when are you mechuyev to eat, this many times happens. The baby was yellow or the baby had a blood transfusion. There's all kinds of things, and you have to wait 7 days. And sometimes the 7 days those 7 days are me'es la'es. And sometimes it goes from 12 o'clock. They did the procedure at 12 o'clock. There's absolutely no shaila that you're allowed to eat in the morning at 7 o'clock. Because you're not in the zone, b'chlal, of the chiyuv of the mitzvah. The chiyuv of the mitzvah only starts at 12 o'clock. So the whole question doesn't exist. According to the Nachlashi over here, he says once the milah shaloi bizmana that doesn't have exactly a time, it's called the mitzvah she'ein lo zman kavua, then the whole halacha doesn't apply. But this is a...
So you have the typical model at the bris at 7, at 10, at 1, so he can't eat the surah after 7 because he can take another...
There are moelim that are machlit that they don't eat. Yeah. There are all different kinds. There are many moelim that say that this whole halacha doesn't apply to them. And there's a lot of Torah written on this. Just tell you, for those of you who live in Beit Shemesh, Reb Nosson Kovshitz holds that it's 100% mutter to eat. This whole halacha doesn't apply. For someone would like to know what he, famous rabbi here in Beit Shemesh, has to say on the subject. No. But there's a subject about a sandik also. I'm not going to get involved. Yeah, okay. All right. But anyways, that's... all right. So let's see the halacha. Kishegia zman asurim lechol achi yis.
If a person has a suffix, their kid is like, they're not sure if he's yellow.
Do they say tachlu?
I don't know, but tachlis are much lighter.
We're making on tachlis.
For a mitzvah.
Okay. No, I don't think that's called a mitzvah is in front of you. That doesn't, you don't know if there's a chiyuv mitzvah, right? Okay. Kishegia zman asurim lechol achi yispor. Va'afilu hischelechol paisik v'sefer. Even though I just read by a drabbanan, you don't have to, and we say many places say that Sefiras is a drabbanan. The Mishnah will discuss that. Mium hischelechol kodim shegia zman. The person started to eat at 7:15.
What's this man? Is that Mashras? Is that 5? Where is this?
Wherever the zman of Sefiras is, I'm not going to get involved in that. Okay. He started eating before the zman. Ein tzarich lahafsik. Elagoyim rachilosai v'sefer achar kach. Okay, so let's see the Mishnah Berurah. Ukshegia zman v'tzeloyim tzeisak echovim. Here the Mishnah Berurah takes on the kula v'tzeisak echovim. And okay, and I'm going to read to you the Sharitzian. Sharitzian says, Poshet, why? Do bebein hashmoshes av shemuter lispor it's permissible to count bitam sveika derabanan al kaponim einu mechuyev adayim. It's not called that it's vada higia dezman, and therefore it goes from teisa kechavim. Va'afilu im kvar espalo kriya shema v'tfila, then you're still allowed to eat. Dim loy came balavach also mishum kriya shema v'tfila. V'skiu ma'achron delfi ma'le paskinon b'simrei shlam hey lahachmer michatzi shal koydim azman yet imachmer half a shah beforehand who adin hocha yesh lanu lahachmer shal lecho michatzi shah samuch l'svira v'hala. Okay, even if you already davened, you have to be machmer. Okay. Ach b'mokom sha'minag ha'shamish kara lispo svira ein lahachmer koydim zmano. If they have the guy who is a town crier that tells people to count svira, you can rely on that, and you're allowed to eat.
It's also if you like you go to the 9 o'clock opinion, right?
Yeah, if that works for your meal, then it works for this too. Lechol v'hu adin shar malachos. Paisik was safer. V'hainu delamad yamasir bizman azed deraisa, that you for sure have to stop. V'yesh v'achron shekos l'ficha chosh ramah po b'inyonein lahachme kois adeh ashu deraisa mishum d'dover she'em bo terach kral lahafsik mat v'lisvor. Even if you hold that Sefiras OMER is derabanan, but what does it cost to stop for? I would say the whole counting of Sefiras OMER doesn't take more than a minute, right? I can't answer that question, but okay. Kedem shegiya zman lefima dekasa chayin v'chatzish hasamach zman also she'eshach dinan okay k'shabbat lecha b'yetz mechatzish shal kedem zman ein tzach las afilu ma'adiyam asir bezman azeh deraisa kivan sheyesh od shoyis lispar. There's plenty of time to count. You have a whole night to count. You're not mechuyev to stop. Okay. The next halacha. This next halacha is a very important halacha. This is a Hilchos brachos halacha. Imenu yodea cheshbon. The person doesn't know what day today is. Upasach adayti le'isayim kemo sheyishma mechavero. He has in mind, I'm going to listen to what my friend is saying, and I'm going to learn from him what to say. Okay? V'shosak achashal mechavero. And you said the bracha, then you were quiet till you heard what your friend is saying. V'siyam kemohu yoytze. You're yoytze. Now, what's the question?
Because when you made the bracha, you didn't know what to say.
So?
Don't you have to have in mind what you do when you make the bracha?
I'm going to count Sefiras. Okay, so the Mishnah Berurah says the problem is that you're not supposed to be waiting after you count, after you say the bracha, until you count. So here he's saying, but if you did it, it's okay. Okay? Okay. Mikal mokom mechatchila eno levarach elam ken yodea betchila eze yom da'asu lahafsik afilu b'shtika bein habracha la mitzvah yesem b'chidei dibur. Okay, but it doesn't say the reason why is because you should know what day it is. What?
Not like Chris Attorney, like words.
Why do you say that?
It's not even if you don't know the day.
But I'm leaving it open. I'm not making on the wrong thing. By Chris Attorney, that would also work. If I say whatever it is going to be, right. Okay. Now the next halacha.
The bracha and says, they bring me my wool first, will be on the wool. If I bring my towels first, will be on the towels. Do that?
A person says, I'm going to say Asher Kedishanu Mizasi with Tzivanu, and whatever appears first, that's what I'm going to. So there, you definitely shouldn't do that, because when you say the Shem of Hashem, you should already know what you're making a bracha on. Okay? You know what you're making it on, Sefiras OMER.
You don't know the day.
Right, but you know what you're making a bracha on. Yeah, okay. In Pasach v'amar brochata Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam, adaita delema yom arbo. You had in mind when you started to say today's the fourth day. Shu savar shem arbo. You thought today is the fourth day. V'nizkar, and you remembered v'sim b'chamisha, and you remembered, I said that yesterday, and you ended off b'chamisha v'hem chamisha, and that's actually the day. Oy ibcha shehem arba v'pasach adaited leima arba v'tov v'siyam b'chamisha eino choizer mevorach. Now the second part.
You said the wrong day in the second case?
Yes, that's what the Mishnah Berurah is going to discuss. Okay. Now, the first part is the simple part. As long as at the end of the day you counted the right thing, then you're yaitza, even if the bracha went, doesn't work. Okay, so that, the bishlam reisha shasim chamisha vu chamisha nicha. That's fine. Why the yotza sharei siper kedin? At the end of the day, you counted the right day. Avagav the b'shas berchosoi sobashu arba lav klumu doesn't bother. Sharei af beloy berech klal yotza. Even if you didn't make any bracha, you're yotza because l'maisi you counted the right day. Avu b'seifa maya hani le the b'shas bracha yoda eze yom hu halach upon him bepiv siper yom she'eno. He counted the wrong day. So how could it be okay? V'eskimu debazet tzarach lisva mechodesh ulevarach. The brachot rishona is l'batala. They disagree with that which it says in Shulchan Aruch because the first bracha was l'batala ki when shesiyam achreya yom acher. They counted the wrong day. V'imloi shenizka tachidei dibor l'svirasoi. If he remembered tachidei dibor, he corrected himself. Sha'az chayzer sabekadin v'abracha v'da'oid. Da'av sh'Shulchan Aruch mari b'she'eis habracha yodea yom ha'sviro b'chadai telis v'kahoigen el shachach tov v'sim shloi gahoigen. He started off with the right intention, just he got mixed up later on. Avakama choyin miskim da'afim b'eis habracha yodei to gam ken al yom acher. He the whole time had in mind the wrong day. V'chein siper b'tois v'kol mokom tachidei dibor nizker shetov v'sayim tekev kahoigen yotze. As long as you change the tachidei dibor, it doesn't make a difference if you in the beginning you had in mind the right day or not. Void kasudim tova omer hayom yom arba ba'omer ubesach kedei dibor nisker shu yom chamisha dai sheisam chamisha ba'omer v'yotze v'zeh af shelo yomer hayom chamishi. Even if you didn't review the words hayom yom chamishi, why kivon shu adayin toch kedei dibor? So all of the things that you said beforehand can be pulled in your direction. Okay. Okay, so take a look in the Sharitzion Mem Aleph. Ayin Maimer Mordechai v'Chok Yankev da bracha einin koya al hayoim. The bracha that you make by Sefiras OMER isn't going on the day. Ela hoidol Hashem al etzem mitzvah. We're thanking HaKadosh Baruch Hu that we have a mitzvah of Sefiras OMER. V'kivan shesnor chedei dibor nisker v'sim kahoigen shaper domei. The bracha that we're making isn't on today. I'm making a bracha that I'm counting Sira. So even though I had in mind the wrong day, but if at the end of the day I counted the right day, so then it's enough. What? No, it has to be Tachidei Dibur. Yeah, but he says if you did it Tachidei Dibur, then you're okay. Right? Why? Because the bracha is on the counting, it doesn't need that particular day. Okay.